Hey there, John Hunter, your mortgage guy, coming to you again this week with another VA video. This one is on VA home loans, the simple 7-step process to getting one. Before I get started, if you're interested in this type of content, if you want to learn more about VA loans, I have a whole section here on YouTube dedicated to VA loans. I'm adding to that content weekly. And I also have a weekly rate update. Talks about VA rates, FHA, conventional, whatnot, and what's going on in the interest rate market going into this next year. Should be really interesting. I'm expecting some good news. We've had some good news a few weeks in a row. I'm hoping that will continue. I've got one here coming before Thanksgiving. You're probably watching this video after Thanksgiving though, so it's going to come weekly, usually on Friday. So there you go. So let's get into this process. So number one, the first step is get organized. I cannot overstate this enough. Getting your income and your asset docs together. As a veteran, there's going to be your separation papers, your DD-214. I'm going to need that. All VA loans require it, and sometimes we need it to even get your certificate of eligibility. Now, you don't have to get your certificate of eligibility. Some people say you do, but you don't. I can get it pretty easily, probably a lot easier than you can, pretty instantly. And very often, they'll give it to me right away without the DD-214. But sometimes they require it. If you're active duty, you don't have a DD-214 because you're not separated yet. I don't need anything from you typically. You're going to be in the system because you're active. I usually can get that certificate pretty simply. Worst case scenario, we get a service letter from your commanding officer, and that works. So get organized. Get your DD-214 together. Get your income and asset docs together. That's step one. So step two is pick a lender. Now, you really want a specialist, somebody like myself who focuses on VA, somebody who knows VA backwards and forwards and is really into it for the relationship. So really what you're looking for is in a lender that will teach you something you don't know about the VA loan process, and will work with you and answer all your questions and not just sell you a loan and not just tell you what you need, but tell you why you need it and why it matters and what are the different cost-saving breakpoints and what makes it different and how it fits you. So picking a lender that specializes in VA is really important. Not everybody understands it. A lot of lenders shy away from it if they don't do a lot of them. I run into that up in this neck of the woods up here in the Northwest. There's a lot of very large loan amounts. A lot of people, they've never even done a VA loan and they've been doing loans for 10 years, which is just shocking to me, but it's true. I run into it all the time. So pick well, go with somebody who's a specialist in VA. Also, number three is getting pre-qualified or pre-approved, right? So this is when you're going to submit your documents. You've picked the lender. Now you're giving them your documentation, your pay stubs, your W-2s, all of the information. Share everything. This is the time maybe to even overshare. Your loan officer is your advocate. Tell them everything they need to know. Finding stuff out later, about maybe say there's a bankruptcy in the past or something like that. It never helps, all right? And it always comes out at the worst possible time. We're going to find out. So this is the time to just share everything and let your loan officer do their magic, structure the loan correctly for you, and explain everything. So, and that's when you're going to get your numbers, which is how much money you're going to need, if any, and what your payment's going to be, what your expectations are. So getting pre-qualified is the next step. So number four is picking a realtor. Now, just like with the loan officer, it's important that you get somebody who's very familiar with VA, right? Negotiating a VA offer is unlike negotiating a conventional offer. Just like a lot of loan officers don't have a lot of experience in VA, even fewer realtors do. So you get a lot of pushback that VA might be considered a weaker offer, or somehow, only accepting conventional offers. To me, that's crazy talk, right? VA is probably one of the strongest offers you can get out there. And it is absolutely not weak. And a good realtor knows this and will negotiate from that strength and understands how to get you what you're looking for. Going 0-0 down, right? That's an old term. Haven't heard that in a while, but negotiating the closing cost, that's a big piece of it. And building that in and making a seller comfortable with it is a huge piece of the pie that a good, solid, experienced realtor will know how to do when it comes to VA offers, and they're not afraid of them. And that's huge, right? I get that once in a while. I'll have a VA pre-approved buyer. They'll pick their own realtor, and the realtor will be like, ooh, VA, ooh, what are we going to do now? It's BS if you ask me. And they should be excited about the options that you have and the flexibility that a VA financing brings to the table. So picking a realtor, that's step number 4. Now the fun part, finding a house, negotiating the offer. Finding the house might be fun. Negotiating is never fun. But that's where the realtor comes in. They'll negotiate the terms. We want to make sure that, if your pre-approval is done correctly and your realtor is experienced, everybody's communicating. They know what to put in the contract to make sure that you're getting what you want. If you don't want to have to come up with any money, you want to go zero down, absolutely. And that's the point at which it all comes together. So you negotiate that offer. That's step number 5. 6 is once your offer is negotiated, you're in contract. Now you have a close date. Usually, on average, it's on a quick close now is 3 weeks, maybe sometimes 2 weeks, but 3 weeks. 30 days to 45 days is typical for VA in most markets. The appraiser plays a huge role in that because the appraisals can take up to 20 business days, which could be 30 actual days, 20 business days to get the appraisal back. Now, most of them aren't taking that long right now, but they can. So we just have to factor that in. You never know. It depends if it's rural, if it's a unique property. Those are all challenges that go along with that. So that is step number 6, where we go through underwriting. We get the appraisal, title, the whole bit. And like I said, it's 21 to 45 day process there. So step number 7 is closing, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Your loan's approved, everything's done. You go to closing table, sign all your paperwork. Typically, in most states, it's usually you sign and either close that day in some states or the very next day. In escrow states, say like Washington, where you'll sign on, say, Thursday, close on Friday. Sometimes you can sign and close same day, but usually it's a day or two before. We try to get ahead of the curve. Want you to review your documents, have plenty of time to sign, not have it be a rush, and close smoothly. So that's pretty much how that works. Now, as far as the veterans goes, if you're active duty and let's say you're stationed overseas, only your wife needs to be present for that. There is an added step for VA though. We have to have usually the day of or the day before, we need to prove that you are still alive and well. So there's an extra certification goes along with that that's unique to VA, but it doesn't happen too often, but it does from time to time. But we can close with the power of attorney with VA. Your spouse or significant other, whoever's on the loan with you, can actually sign for you. So that's pretty much how closing works. So those are the 7 steps. It's really not rocket science, guys. It's pretty straightforward. I think the takeaway from this is get a team together that you trust, that understand VA, the nuances of it, the strengths, why it is such a special benefit that you've earned, sacrificing for your country. And it's something that I know myself, I pride myself in taking care of vets. So there we go. Hey, have a wonderful week, guys. Hopefully you had a nice Thanksgiving last week, and I will talk to you soon. John Hunter, your mortgage guy. Like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.